Hey everyone, so we're going live soon. Just waiting for a few seconds before we begin. Hi everyone that's joining in, and welcome to today's live session. And today we are going to be talking about confidence, and I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of questions to ask and a lot of things you want to clarify. So we'll get started on that. Hello to everyone joining in, and my name is Roma, and I'm a coach with Wysa. And today's topic, as I mentioned, is confidence. First of all, let's begin with confidence. I mean, it's the most talked about thing, and we wonder what it is and how do we get it, and is there a magic formula to find the confidence and install in some way. So basically, confidence is the assurance or the belief in your own ability, in your own um, self and your own self-worth. And that is what confidence is. And when we talk about confidence, how do we reflect confidence? It comes from the way that we talk, the way that we behave, the way that we portray ourselves, the way that we, the things that we say. Confidence is reflected in all of that. Also, of course, in the way that we dress. Show our exterior self to others. Um, a lot of confidence that comes, it comes from the, like I said, the assurance of ourselves. That is one thing that I, have to stress, that we need to know ourselves first to, get into feeling confident. If you're not sure about our abilities, what our weaknesses are, then it will be difficult for us to know how to be confident. It will be difficult for us to tap into that confidence if we don't know where that confidence comes from. So thing is to know is what our strengths are, what are the abilities that we have that we can focus on. So for example, if I'm good at singing, then I will try to work on that skill to make it better, and try to make it to a level of, where we can be confident with it. So one of the keys of confidence is persistence. Something, if you're trying to be something, if it's like, doing a public presentation, for example, then you need to do it again and again. Doing it once and maybe failing or not doing that well will not help you develop that skill or not help you be confident in that area. But the more you do it, the more, or the more you, succeed in it. All of that is a learning curve for you, and how do you deal with it, and how do you get more out of that situation. I'm just going to take a couple of questions before I move on. Just the questions. So someone is saying, Sri Lakshmi is saying that what if we were a very confident person, but we suddenly completely change into an why and how to change it? Now, if that has happened to you and you have gone from being a confident person to a person that is no longer confident, then it's obviously been because of something that's happened. It's because of something that has been, yeah, something that maybe someone said something or some incident that happened that made you lose that confidence. So it won't suddenly just disappear. It might be triggered by something that has happened. That back, you have to first see what was the cause of it. Then you need to work on that particular area. For example, if you were giving a presentation at work and someone said that the way that you talked was not very clear. So if that is the feedback you get, then how in your speech, then maybe you practice that. Maybe, take videos like this and speak on a topic, read something out, practice the way that you speak, the tone, the speed of your speech. If that is not helping, then maybe take the advice from a professional, like a speech therapist, on how to. You can, do different techniques in terms of increasing your confidence. So if you know where the issue is, then working on it will be easier. Another question is how to be confident without being boastful. Now, that's a very nice question, because that is something that I mentioned in the video that I had made yesterday, where you need to find a balance between being confident and being overconfident and being underconfident. Now, if you are confident in yourself, you have the strength to portray the way that you are. When you realize that you're being boastful, when you realize that you are you're going overboard, you know it. Somewhere something will trigger that will say that, okay, I'm maybe portraying a bit more than I should be. And how do you hone it in a little bit? It's okay to be confident, but obviously depends on what situation and how you're portraying yourself, and what are you trying to what is the image that you're trying to create in front of people, because confidence has a lot to do on to portray to people, and what people see you as. Because one very good quote that I read the other day that I want to mention is that a lot of times we perceive that a lot of people think that we are awkward, or think that our actions and our appearances are perceived in a certain way. We think of it on more terms, that people are observing us. People may not be that observant towards us, but our perception of it is more, and we think that people are giving us that that focus on us. So how you want people to perceive you, what level of confidence do you want to portray, that depends entirely on you, and how do you try to control confidence. um, and, how how do you stand up to people? Now, that's, I think, depending again on what do you mean by intimidating for you. For example, if it's at work and it's your boss who maybe of the position of that person is in, a person who is in authority and power, that is intimidating you, then why is it intimidating you? It's maybe because you don't have the confidence in your own ability. You're trying to portray what you're trying to present yourself as in the workplace. So intimidating people are only intimidating when we make that for us, when we are not able to present ourselves confidently. If we are able to confidently, then it will not affect us. It might be a child, it might be an older person, it can be a person in power, it could be anybody, and it'll be easy for you to know yourself and you're confident in yourself. One thing about confidence is that a lot of times when we think that we're not confident, it's because we're not um, willing to take risks. Confidence of putting yourself out there, putting yourself in positions that make you completely uncomfortable. Like, for example, me doing something like this 5-10 years back would have seemed, I would have laughed at it, saying like, it's impossible. It's something that I would never be able to do. And but here I am now. It's because it's not overnight. It's not something I woke up and said that, yes, I'm going to do this today. I started off with small things that I was comfortable with. I remember the first time that I gave a lecture about psychology to a group of students. And I remember being so nervous. I remember literally my hands and feet going cold. I remember, my voice shaking, and I was sure that people could actually, hear my voice shaking. That's how nervous I was. And at that point, I could have chose to feed into that fear, and say that, okay, I'm too nervous, I'm too scared, I'm too shaky, this is not for me, I can't do it, and I could have left it at that. But I kept challenging myself because I liked doing this. Somewhere I knew that I want to do this in the future. So if I didn't practice it now, then I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to take this forward. Doing it, I kept not doing so well in the beginning. I used to doubt myself. I used to question everything that I said and did. But as I went doing it, and even today, I'm obviously nobody is 100%, and I'm not confident when I do things like this. But you try your best, you do your best. You For me, it's all about, when I do things like this, it's all about speaking from my heart. Because if I am trying to put up an act, or I'm trying to fake it, then I know I'm going to fail at it. So I try to do my best, and I try to leave it at that. So if you are someone that's struggling with anything that is a skill, is and it's something that you want to learn, and you're not able to do it, my first advice would be to be persistent with it, to keep failing, keep trying, keep learning, keep knowing what you're doing is wrong, learning from your mistakes, taking risks, going out of your comfort zone, not waiting for other people's praises for you to push you forward. Because at some point, you need to motivate yourself. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to get up from your bed and say that I have to do this today, I have to get this done. Because not every time is someone going to come and give us a push. Not every time is someone going to tell us job well done. So we have to do that for ourselves. I think somewhere as adults, we need to take that responsibility. As children, it was different. We had our parents telling us, okay, get up, do this, do that. We had someone to guide us, we had someone to motivate us. But at some point, when you become adults, you have to be your own parent, and you have to be responsible if you want things to happen for yourself. Moving on to other questions that I can see here coming up. How to be confident after someone bullied me? I don't know if this is from a personal experience, or this is just general questions. But if it is from a personal experience, I'm sorry that that happened to you. Bullying is a very sensitive topic, and if this has happened as a child or even as an adult, it can really leave a scar for someone who's dealing with it. And it can be very difficult for the person going through those thoughts and emotions. Again, when we think about bullying, and we think about our confidence being affected because of that, when because we are to be blamed, or because we have done something wrong, it's to do with the person who is bullying us, and it is to do with their issues and their thinking, and why are they doing it. So now, if you're away from that situation, I want you to focus on yourself, focus on your abilities, and focus on your vision that you have for your life. Focus on what it is, what is your passion, what do you need to be achieving in life. I know that all of us have some baggage or the other that we are pulling around. Some baggages are heavier than the others, and some more difficult to deal with than the others. But if you have things that you're dealing with, then you have to focus on forward, moving forward. If we let ourselves be stuck in the past, then we will be defined by our past, and we have a life that we have to live the best that we can. And for those looking for meaning in life and looking for purpose in life, I think it's all within us. To these questions that about our life and about the choices in our life, they're all within us. We need to take some time, give us some space, and think about what is it that drives us, what is it that motivates us. Is it helping others? Is it earning money? It could be anything for anybody. anything could be the driving force behind someone, and you need to tap into that, and you need to focus on that. Start thinking about what is stopping you from building your confidence. If it's losing weight, and you think that when I lose weight, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to, wear these certain clothes that I've, held on to in my closet. um, what is stopping you from living the perfect life? Why focused on that one thing? If we keep waiting for something to happen, we probably will be waiting for the rest of our lives. You can travel now, you can, dress the way you want now, maybe a little changes are needed. Focus on losing weight, being healthy physically and mentally. And that is where the focus should be. If we are looking at confidence, then we need to think about here on. We need to think of the future and what you want to do in the future, and how you want to um, build the future. I think also, when people appreciate us or they say job well done, if we have a low self-esteem, low confidence, we'll be then thinking, oh, I don't know how to take this, this compliment. And that is where we need to extend graciously and be grateful for people who appreciate us, and not doubt that compliment, because that is something, again, that's a driving force for us to be more confident, analyzing them too much. um, Looking at other questions. Wendy is saying, what should I do when I feel confident, then hit an obstacle, I start thinking negative about myself? So a lot of confidence has to do with the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we perceive any situation. So when we hit an obstacle, obviously it's going to bring us down. It's going to let those thoughts creep in. We need to, like I said, be our own cheerleaders. We need to motivate ourselves. We need to put in place tools that will help us be confident. For example, affirmations are a great way of building up the confidence. For example, you could look at the mirror, and if it is simple as I love myself, or I am kind to myself, things that are dear to yourself, use that as an affirmation. Do that, say that to yourselves 20 times a day, every single day, and it gets ingrained into your mind. You're training your mind to think positively. Obviously, it's not as easy as it sounds. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of force. And talking about force, when we want to do something, lose weight, we want to get confident, we want to be a great, we want to be a good dancer, all of this, nobody, it's not easy for anyone, and at some point it takes a lot of effort and force to achieve that. So we need to be forcing ourselves at some point, at the beginning, just as a push to achieve that. We need to be that driving force in success to able to be achieve that, to able to be getting to that point of feeling confident. um, Maverick says that I don't like socializing because formalities and acting nicely. I like being honest, even though if not nice. But having tried college life, I think I suffer because staying such hermit. What do I do? So I think when it comes to socializing, obviously it does involve a lot of formalities and things that you. When you are looking at socializing, I always think of finding your comfort zone. So I used to be an introvert, and still somewhere down there is that introvert in me that doesn't like socializing a lot. But when you have people around comfort zone and you're okay with that space, you don't need to look for a big group or a big a social circle. Find where your comfort zone is. If it's just in one person, that's more than enough if you're happy with that. If you want to push boundaries, then you need to start slow. Start off with a smaller group, then a medium-sized group, and move on to larger groups so that you're comfortable with the people around you. Obviously, it will not always be comfortable if you're looking at a larger group, because there will be people that you don't know, or people that um, don't really interact with. But then again, doing this over and over again, once you're more confident in your own abilities, it will get easy. It will become more natural than forced. um, there's a lot of questions coming in. We might not be able to answer all of them. I apologize in advance, but we'll try to get back to the questions. You can always send these questions to us on Instagram, and we'll reply to them. Okay, so Luna says, how can I break from cycles of self hate and self love, or cycles in don't even want to try anymore? Luna, I think that might be a very disappointing feeling that you're going through, not even wanting to try anymore. And obviously, I can't get into the history of what happened and what got you there. But self hate is, like you said, it's a cycle. So any cycle that happens, the more you feed into it, the more it grows. The more the cycle keeps continuing time over time. Somewhere that cycle needs to break. So, as easy as taking a scissor and cutting that cycle is what we need to do. That could be, motivating yourself. That could be doing something that you're not used to doing. That could be using affirmations to build up. One thing that we really underestimate is, going to a therapist and dealing with our past issues, because a lot of times that is what is dragging us down, the past issues. When we can deal with that and move on, things will, you're breaking the cycle somewhere there needs to have a change, has to happen. If that change doesn't happen, then you're going to see it continuing time again, every time, and there's no end to that cycle. So if you want to, you need to do something differently. That's as basic as it is. It's not simple, of course, but it is simple. It's the what we need to do. For example, um, you know if you're stuck in an unhappy marriage, um, time and again, you're in that cycle of, say, miscommunication or abuse. And what do we need to do? This answer is simple, that you need to do something to change it. How to get there can be difficult, but once you can figure out a path to get there, then the process might become easier. With all of these things, we need to do things on our own, but having some support is helpful. um, okay, next question. Someone is saying you can motivate yourself to be healthy and focus on being in a routine yourself. I think that's a very nice comment. So thank you for that. So another deal with constant small negative thoughts that keep popping up. I keep watching YouTube videos while I'm eating. I can't be left alone with my thoughts. Every trigger. Now, that must be very overwhelming for that person to be dealing with this constantly, to be constantly having these thoughts in their mind. And for that, again, what are those triggers? I mean, where are those triggers coming from? We have to go back to the basics, in such situations, as to where coming from. Something deep within you is making you afraid of eating alone. That's why you need some, you have the fear of being alone. So what is that fear? Where is it coming from? We need to understand that to give, any kind of suggestion or help or advice in that case. Like I mentioned, it's a cycle. Somewhere we need to break that cycle. We need to feed in positive thoughts. In the beginning, it will seem unnatural, it will seem forced, like a big task, but the mind cannot differentiate between what is real and what is what we are feeding it. Like they say in laughter therapy, the body cannot differentiate laughter and real laughter. So that's why when we stimulate the body with laughter, the body feels like it's releasing the happy hormones, and you feel happy and you feel good, and that's why you do like. That's the same thing with feeding our mind with thoughts. So if you feed it negative thoughts, the outcome is going to be negative. If you're feeding it with positive thoughts, the outcome is going to be positive. And the more you do it, again, coming back to being persistent, being a regular with your patterns. If you're trying to build in good habits and you're trying to install good habits in yourself, then you need to be consistent. You can't do it once or twice and say that it didn't work for you, because that's not a long enough time to have tried something. So it's very important to be consistent with anything that, of course, like all people, we all have off days, and it's okay to have those off days, but we need to bounce back and come back to um, being trying to achieve what we're trying to do. um, a few more things that I wanted to mention is that some ways of building confidence. What are some ways of um, making it happen for yourself? So firstly, basically, is if you're looking at confidence and you're looking at um, say for example talking to people, socializing, and you don't feel very confident about talking with people, then you need to realize, is it the fear of people, of what they will judge you, so the way that you look or the way that you talk? So I would say conversing with people, then for example, if I were to meet a group of people, add my knowledge, build up, do some research about what I can talk about in that group of people. If it is the way that I'm underconfident about the way that I look, then I'll take some effort into dressing up, because the way that we present ourselves, the way that we you know look also plays into confidence. For women, putting up some lipstick when you can add another boost of confidence to your everyday routine, to help you run an extra mile. So build research. If you want to you know open up a business and you're not confident about what route to take, research it on the internet. I mean, whatever you're thinking of doing, there's probably someone who's already done it on the internet and posted a blog or it. So learn from them. There are a lot of people that have researched things, and there's a lot to learn. So you can use that as a tool to help yourself to learn from them. And so learn, build your knowledge. Then second thing is to set small goals. I think when you're trying to, don't try to be too clever or too you're planning to do. Don't try to go from 0 to 100 in just one night. Start small. Start with smaller goals. Start with things that are easy for you to achieve. And once you start achieving those goals step by step, you'll be more confident to put in and add in. You'll be more confident in pursuing what you want to do. So do it small, take it step by step, and then move on with building yourself up. And start from the basics. Like if I'm learning to sing, um, and I want to be good at singing, then I will start as learning the notes. And I'm not a singer, so I can't tell you the basics of that. But doing something that is as basic as learning ABC. I know the notes of that. So start at the basics. We are all here, Wysa through this and help you build you up in your confidence. So start small. If you're confused, we'll help you. We'll guide you with that. Last question before we sign off for today. Um, mm, mm. Questions. For adults, this is Tamara who's asking. For adults that went through a life changing event, like a starting habit seems like a gigantic task. For any person who has gone through any event, small or big, it's definitely a possibility of struggle to do that. But like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, starting with the basics, start with the ABCs of confidence. What is it that you need to build up? Focus on, don't try to do too huge, because you will set yourself up for failure. Start with the basics and then move forward from there. If you know what you're good at, I think I would always suggest to focus on that first. The boost of confidence to do the other things that seem difficult and that seem like a gigantic task moving forward. And I want to leave you with this last thing, that don't let the voice inside you. You have that little tiny voice inside us telling us you're not good enough, or you're going to fail. Don't do that. Try to shut it down and feed it with positivity. Look in the mirror every morning and say that you've got this. You have the day in your hand. You are in control of your situation, and move forward perceiving that. Don't let negativity and negative people bring you down, because we are surrounded by people that may want to bring to affect try to affect us in the wrong way. And when we let these people and the situation surrounding that get to us, then it can get difficult with time. So I but it's small efforts from us. It's taking risks, is pushing, despite going through a difficult time, that feeds into our confidence, that helps us grow as a person. I think, it's ironic today that I'm speaking on this topic, because I remember a few years ago when I was the least confident person that you would know. But time has taught me to push myself, to put in, to not wait for anybody to let me know that I'm doing a good job, to trust myself that I am doing well, and I'm where I'm not, where people are looking at the way that I look, or the way that I am, or the way that I speak, and all of these things that we are so self-critical about. Pushing ourselves and putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable will help us gain that confidence bit by bit. So, to all of you listening, thank you for listening and tuning in. Thank you for your questions. I know a lot of people have sent in a lot of questions and a lot of comments. I really appreciate it. Not answered your question, please send it to us on Instagram, and we will reply to you and we'll get back to you. Stay tuned for more of our live sessions to everyone on this side of the time zone. Good night and sweet dreams.